within the axis of resistance, which includes Iran, Lebanese Hezbollah, the Iraqi militias, Houthis and Hamas, the Houthis have used this war as a sort of social mobility platform. They have gone from being a part of the axis of resistance that might be considered peripheral or not that important to the only member within the axis of resistance that has actually credibly assisted Hamas by globalizing this conflict and giving it an actual price tag for the international global economy. They're the ones who, if you think about it, Iran has never fired a medium-range ballistic missile at Israel. The Houthis have done it at least 3 times since this conflict started. They're the ones who are proving themselves to be the most committed member of the axis of resistance. So they've enjoyed this enormously.
Saudis went to war with Yemen in early 2016, just after the transition from the late King Abdullah to King Salman, the current king of Saudi Arabia. And he appointed what was then very young son, Prince Salman, Mohammed bin Salman, often known as MBS, as defense minister. And MBS essentially went to war with Yemen, clearly hoping for an early success, perhaps within weeks, and didn't have the success. It emerged that, in fact, the Houthi forces, instead of defending Yemen from the Saudis, were actually able to advance into areas of southern Saudi Arabia and to put the Saudis at a disadvantage. But there appears to be some sort of diplomacy going on to sort this out, and the suggestion is that the Saudis don't want to get involved in any military action now because it would jeopardize whatever's going on diplomatically.
Europe, for instance, Europe has been facing a lot of crises, especially since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and now it has to deal with the changing, trade patterns that are taking place because a lot of vessels are taking the Cape of Good Hope. Europe is dependent on Asia for different commodities. And if you remember, as viewers, the maps I showed earlier, those longer journeys mean higher shipping costs. We're already seeing freight rates soaring, especially in the container segment. And in the end, those higher costs will have to be passed on at one point. We might not be feeling the impact right now, but in the upcoming months, in Q1, in March, and in February and March, we might start feeling increase in prices, and especially if the crisis persists. Because right now we still don't see a clear solution, neither for the attacks in the Red Sea or to the wider conflict. If we move to Egypt, for instance, Egypt, and this was acknowledged by the Suez Canal Authority earlier this month, dollar revenues from the tolls, Suez Canal tolls, were down by 40% during the 11 days of January.